So our gospel lesson this morning, it starts with the word afterward. After what? After Christ's crucifixion, resurrection, after he first appears to his disciples. Those things took place in Jerusalem. And we call Jerusalem the holy city. And there's a sense in which that's true. But it's also true that most of Jesus' ministry took place in Galilee. Not the big city, but out in the sticks. Galilee is where people responded most favorably to Jesus. Jerusalem, the big city, is where Jesus' enemies lived. Jerusalem is where they killed Jesus. So after Jesus' death and resurrection, the disciples went home to Galilee, to a place where Jesus had healed and had taught and had drawn great crowds. When the disciples went back to Galilee, they went fishing. It wasn't sports fishing. This was business fishing. Because they were fishermen, weren't they? That's what they did for a living. But on this occasion, nothing was biting. But then several remarkable things happened. A stranger appeared on shore and said, "Friends, haven't you any fish?" I don't know about you, but I know those few times that I went out on ships to, like out in the bay and out in the ocean to do some fishing. Professional fishermen tend to be pretty rugged. And they don't take any flack. And the first remarkable thing here is that this stranger calls the fishermen friends. And they let him get away with it. They answered, no, they aren't catching anything. So the stranger says, throw your net out on the right side of the boat and you'll find some. Rugged fishermen don't usually take kindly to strangers telling them how to catch a fish, So the next remarkable thing that happens here is that the fishermen don't tell the stranger to go jump in the lake. No, the disciples haul in their nets and toss them out over the right side of the boat. Perhaps they think the stranger has seen a school of fish under the water or something. At any rate, when they do what the stranger tells them to do, they catch so many fish that they can't even haul in the net. That was when one of the disciples recognized the stranger. "It is the Lord!" he shouted. "It is the Lord!" And at that, Peter jumped in the lake to swim to Jesus, I suppose. You never know what Peter was going to do you? He just one wild man. And once the fishermen got to shore, Jesus had a charcoal fire ready to broil some fish. The only other time that a charcoal fire was mentioned in this gospel is when Peter was denying Jesus. Peter was standing by a charcoal fire when he denied Jesus. And now Jesus, standing by another charcoal fire, is giving Peter a chance to redeem himself. Jesus and the disciples, they broiled some fish and they ate some breakfast. Then Jesus singled out Peter and he asked him, he said, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" In other words, he was saying, do you love me more than these other disciples, or do you love me most of all? And Peter responded, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." And that's true. Jesus knew that Peter loved him. So Jesus said, "Feed my lambs." Then Jesus asked him again. He said, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" And Peter said again, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." And Jesus said, "Take care of my sheep." Then Jesus asked again, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" And Peter responded, "Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you." And Jesus said, "Feed my sheep." In that exchange between Jesus and Peter, we can find everything that we need to know about what it means to be a Christian. First, we can learn from the question that Jesus asked, "Do you love me?" Jesus could have asked Peter any number of questions. Jesus could have asked him, "Did you remain faithful?" But he didn't ask that. He could have asked, did you deny me? He didn't ask that either. He could have asked, did you run away? But he didn't do that. Jesus asked 3 questions, but they really boil down to just the one, don't they? Do you love me? I find that wonderfully encouraging. You know, Jesus was catching Peter at his low point, the lowest time in his life. Peter had denied Jesus 3 times, and he had run away. He had lost his faith, and he felt terrible. But Jesus didn't rake Peter over the coals. He didn't criticize Peter for his failure. He asked only that one question: do you love me? And the reason that I find this so encouraging is that I too have failed Jesus. And so have you. If Jesus wanted to air our sins out in public, we would be so terribly embarrassed, wouldn't we? If Jesus demanded a clean and pure life from us, we would be hopelessly lost. But Jesus doesn't ask, what have you done? He doesn't ask, have you been good? He doesn't ask a list of our accomplishments. He doesn't ask how many commandments we violated. He only asks, do you love me? And I find that encouraging. You know, I can do that. I can love Jesus. Now, I'm not sure how well I've done the rest of it, but I love Jesus. And that's the only test that I have to pass here. And I can pass that. And so can you. You can pass the test too, because you can love Jesus. If Jesus required us to be truly holy, or to serve in high church office, or to read the Bible every day, or never have an impure thought, if Jesus required those things, we would be lost. But Jesus, he only asks, do you love me? And we can do that. And second here, when Peter answered that he loved Jesus, Jesus said, feed my lambs. Lambs? Baby sheep, right? Adolescent sheep. Sheep not yet fully grown. Sheep that need special care and feeding. Sheep that need someone to teach them how to grow up rightly. Lambs need somebody to keep them from running out in front of a car. They need someone to make sure that they eat right and they get enough sleep. If we love Jesus, we will do what we can to feed his lambs. We will do what we can to love and protect and feed and teach the children in our care. And you know, we try to do that here at Pikeside, don't we? We love our children. We provide a Sunday school where they can learn about Jesus, and a youth group where they can have fun with other kids in a faith environment. At our recent Easter egg hunt, and our upcoming VBS, at our new summer sports camp. Jesus is speaking to us when he says, feed my lambs. He's speaking to you. He's speaking to me. So give some thought about how you might answer that call. How you might contribute to the well-being of the children and the youth of this community. Ask yourself how you might become a blessing to children in other parts of the world who are desperately needy. Jesus says, feed my lambs. And you know, when Jesus says, feed my lambs, he means something more than just children. We can take that to new Christians as well, can't we? New Christians who are still feeling their way towards faith. They need our help too. Jesus calls us to help them on their faith journey, and in other ways as well. Third, Jesus said, take care of my sheep. Taking care of something is a larger task than just feeding it, isn't it? Every gardener knows this. I see a gardener back there. It's easy to feed a garden. You just take some fertilizer and you just throw it out there and you're done, right? Actually taking care of the garden, that's the hard part. It means you got to get down there and get dirty, pulling weeds and building fences to keep out the deer and the rabbits. It's hard work. It requires the gardener to anticipate what the plants need and then providing what the plants need. So I think sheep is a bigger word than lambs. Lambs are babies. Sheep includes everyone. Jesus was calling Peter and us to care for those in need, whether they're adults or children. take care of my sheep. So ask yourself what that means to you. Ask yourself what you could be doing to help other people. You know, there are plenty of needy people in this world, in this town, in this congregation, in our neighborhoods. What does Jesus want us to do to help them? Fourth, when Jesus told Peter, feed my sheep, Jesus himself provides the model here. He fed people bread and fish at the feeding of the 5,000. He gave them food for their bodies. Jesus fed people bread and wine at the Last Supper. He gave them food for their souls. In other words, Jesus fed people to meet their physical needs, and he fed them to meet their spiritual needs. And Jesus calls us to do both. So ask yourself what Jesus might want you to do to feed your hungry brother or sister, to give them physical bread. And ask yourself how he might be calling you to nurture people spiritually, to give them spiritual bread. Rick Richardson tells a story that illustrates what I'm trying to talk about here. He had a friend named Sam, and Sam lost his wallet. So Rick said, Sam, I'll pray for you. Sam said, well, I guess it couldn't hurt. But then a little later, Sam came over to Rick and said, hey, I found my wallet. And he laughed. He said, hey, you can pray for me anytime you want to. A few days later, Sam mentioned that he had an ulcer that was acting up. And Rick asked if there was anything he could do. And Sam asked him to stop by the CVS and pick up some medicine for him. And Rick delivered the medicine and told Sam that he would pray for him. And he did. And Sam seemed happy. Happy enough for him to do that for him. And then Sam reported that he was feeling better, and he didn't really need the medicine anymore. And Rick said, man, I wish I would have prayed for you before I went to CVS. That would have saved you the trip. And they both laughed. And now, whenever Sam needs something, he always calls Rick first and says, pray for me, brother. That's all we have to do. You know? Love Jesus and feed his sheep. In the name of the Father, the Son, and